What's up guys, NepentheZ here and welcome back to another episode of The Road to Glory. As you can see on the screen, we finished the last batch of games 14-3 with one DC while winning, one extra time loss, which was quite deserved, and one penalty loss, which I should have probably won. However, we're in a good spot right now. The aim for this week was legitimately going to be 25 wins. I know quite a lot. I say I'm just going to get here and then I'm done. But what happens usually is I have such a mixed start or middle that I don't feel like I'm in a position where I can actually get elite. And so I just set myself like an achievable goal. I'm like, look, let me just get to gold 1. I'll finish there, won't be a problem. But quite often, when I remove that pressure from myself, I end up outperforming where I would be, and then I end up going on to push elite. But this time around, I was genuinely just, I wanted to just get to, gold 1 and stop. And the reason for that was because, first of all, I'd left a lot of games for Sunday, and second of all, I'm quite over FUT Champs. FIFA in general right now is just so stale, in my opinion. It's just not at a point where it's a good game. It's not a bad game, but you know we've had this iteration of FIFA now since what, September? So September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. We're now into May, so we are 9 months. This is the 9th month of this iteration of FIFA. I've played over 3,000 games, and all the little niggling things that are the problems within this game, they're not going to get changed now. There's a lot of little things here and there that we just want some information for, some answers for, some changes for, and we're not going to get that. And that's fine, you know, we can wait until the next FIFA. But between right now, and it happens every year around this sort of time in the game, between now and when Team of the Season starts, I've got a lack of interest of playing FIFA. That's not to say that I don't still enjoy the game and I don't want to make the videos. I still enjoy the game, but you know, 3 months ago, 5 months ago, I couldn't wait for Weekend League. I was playing it on 2 accounts. I was playing 40 games in the weekend and another 10 or 15 games in divisions on the weekend. I was playing divisions constantly throughout the week. I was spent every minute I could on FIFA. Now it's a situation where it's kind of like, right, let me get these 40 games done so I can do something else. And that's sad, but hopefully the Team of the Season will reignite the love for the game. You know, it's just got a bit stale, hasn't it? You know, marquee matchups is all pretty much the same. The draft is the same. The division rewards are still the same. FUT Champs is still the same. Like it's all the same. So for me this week, it was about securing my Elite 1 monthly, which I did at 23 wins, and securing Gold 1 weekly, because I really want the 2 100k packs for Team of the Season, especially now that it's even closer. I think that it was the right thing to do. Now, I've got some questions, some comments from the last video, and some saved up from previous videos, so we're going to get through the last video's comments first, and the one that I want to read first is... So, Ruben Slidering says, Yo, there is a rumor going on that if you put the quality of your console from 1080p to 720p, it fixes input delay. I tried it myself and felt it played smoother and players reacted quicker. Maybe you could try it yourself and see if it works, like so you can see. So yeah, I've also seen that. Going around Reddit, the forums, and Twitter, and I will try it this week. I was going to do it this weekend, and I just completely slipped my mind, so I didn't get around to doing it. But I will try it this week, and a few of the guys that I talked to that play at a high level said that it had an impact for them, a positive impact. But I wonder if it could just be placebo. It might be factual, it might not be, who knows, you know, like you might be the sort of guy that gets 18 to 20 wins every weekend and thinks to himself like, man, I'm always just that little, you know, that little inch away from getting 25 to 30 wins, and switching down from 1080p to 70p might well be the difference for you, might make you get those extra wins. And so the question becomes, if that is an issue, is it not been EA's fault this whole time? And everyone that's blaming EA and complaining about input delay, and EA are saying, listen, you know, because I've spoken to a few of the EA guys, and they say there's obviously games where there is some problems, like some server issues, but in general, they don't think they have a problem. Now, could it be that it's just people playing on 1080 consoles? Or, from my experience as well, the bigger the monitor you play on, the more like input delay you get because of the response time of the monitor. That's why playing on a gaming monitor is better with a quicker response time. Because, you know, when you press a button, for it to go through your console, through to your TV, and if you have like Elgato set up, through the Elgato, then through to your TV. It doesn't happen instantly. Okay, it's not usually, you can't usually tell by the human eye or by feel, but that small split second could be the difference of you winning and losing games in certain games. Of course, if you're just way better than the opponent anyway, you're going to win, and if you're just way worse anyway, you're going to lose. But in those games where it's a tight, tough game and you think, damn man, I really could have come out on the other side of that, that could be because you might be playing on a 42-inch monitor or a 42-inch TV, and those are not good to play on. I hate them. I get motion lag, motion sickness when I play on big TVs. I already play, I think, on a... I've either got 32-inch or 27-inch. I can't remember which. I don't know which. I would say it's probably a 32-inch. I've been suggested to go down for my monitor. But for me to move a monitor down, I would actually have to change my entire setup because I've got 3 monitors. I'd have to change them all, otherwise I just have 1 small monitor and 2 big monitors. And I actually like the big monitors for when I'm editing and just like generally using my computer and playing other games outside of FIFA. So maybe I'll buy a smaller monitor and just plug it in and put it in front of this one whilst I play or something. I don't know. But in general, yeah, the changing from 1080p to 720p could help you with input delay. Switching from a TV to a gaming monitor with less response time, that could be a way to help improve your gameplay. And in general, switching from a big TV or monitor to a smaller TV or monitor can help as well, because one of the things is, like, if you can get the whole screen in your peripheral vision, you don't need to move your head, which means you can react to things without having to do anything. For me, when I do need to look, I need to look and move my head. And you may not think it makes a difference, but again, when you're playing at the levels that you are playing at in Foot Champs, having to move your head to one side of the screen and then not being able to see the other side of the screen in your peripheral vision, you might miss a run that one of your players is making, or an easy ball that one of your, that you could pass into the midfield because you're too busy looking here when you could be looking here. And if you play on an even bigger TV, you could be looking here while stuff's going on here and you just can't see it. So when you play on a smaller TV, you can see everything in one set. It could genuinely help your gameplay. Yeah, I will try it this week though, dudes. I will try it. We get Senan O'Neill says, hey, I'm a big fan of the series. You know the way those Footmas SBCs didn't count as informs, right? For example, DeMarcos has an 84 SBC and an 84 inform, and the same thing with Dybala. So then why did Emre Can get an 85 rated card if he didn't get an 83 rated performance-based card? I don't know the answer to your question. It seems like Chan is the anomaly. I don't know why he got his SBC. The only thing I can think of is literally EA just made a mistake. The person that makes the informs or makes the SBCs looked at that, just looked at, okay, so Chan's got this card, an 83 card, let's give him an 85 card, and just literally made a mistake thinking that the 83 was an inform when it wasn't. That's about the only reasoning I've got behind that. Coutinho Fan 101 says, hey Nep, do you think EA should make packs like Team of the Knockout Stage guarantees possible reward available in Draft? I feel like it would be a good incentive for people to play Draft, as it is deader than dead at the moment. Just a thought, love your videos. Yeah, I agree. Draft, like as I mentioned a little while ago, and as we have spoken about before, but it's always worth keeping this in the forefront of people's minds and talking about this often, because if we don't talk about it and if we stop talking about it, it won't change. The reward structure in general in Draft and in Divisions is horrendous. To win Division 1, you only get 15,000 coins and you need to pick up 23 points. So you need at least 8 games, maybe 9 games, or as many as all 10 to get 15,000 coins. So if you win 4 Division 1 titles and it takes you all 10 games, that's 40 games that you have won to get yourself 60,000 coins. If you take those 40 games, now you are guaranteed to have had to have won 7, 14, 21, 28 games. You're guaranteed to have had to won 28 games out of those 40 games to win the title, and a couple of draws. Now in Weekend League, of course, draws go into extra time and then penalties to wins. So if you say, okay, he won 8 games every time he won Division 1, that's 32 wins to get 60,000 coins out of 40 games. If you got the 7 wins and went down to 28 wins, and then some of those draws, you might have gone on to win those on penalties if you played that same opponent in Foot Champs. You might have ended up still picking up 32, 33, 34 wins. So at minimum, you get, for the same amount of wins, not even taking into consideration the draws and the losses, you get in Foot Champs 2 100k packs and 50,000 coins. For the exact same output in Division 1, you get just 60,000 coins. And obviously match earnings for both, which are kind of counteracted by fitness and contracts and stuff like that. So the reward structure is really bad. And you might say, yeah, but Weekend League is more competitive. Well, some people disagree a lot, and quite a lot of the pros disagree. I think Gorilla, and I could be wrong here, so don't quote me on this, but I think Gorilla is under the impression himself as well that Division 1 is actually more difficult than FUT Champs. And for some people in general, I know some people that can get 22, 23, 24 wins in FUT Champs, but cannot get into Division 1. They can't even get into Division 1. They languish between Division 4, Division 3 and Division 2, and then when it comes to FUT Champs, they can get 20, 21, 22, 23 wins. So there is an argument to be made that it's actually harder to consistently win Division 1 than it is to get consistent wins in FUT Champs. However, the reward structure is horrendous. And then if you think about the draft, you have to pay to enter the draft, and you only get the best prize if you win all 4 games in a row. And then if you take into consideration, let's say you win 32 out of 40 draft games, that's you losing in the semi-final or the second round a couple of times. You've paid 150,000 coins to enter those 10 and those 10 drafts, or maybe to play out 40 games, it might actually take you 15 drafts to play out 40 games. So it might be 225,000 coins to enter all of those drafts to get the same games output, to then get the shoddy pack rewards that you don't get out of FUT Champs again. So I definitely believe that the reward structure needs to be changed for draft and divisions massively. What's interesting to me is that this year EA changed the reward structure minor for FUT Champs, right? Sorry, for draft, right? Now that we can get coins for winning and or losing in the final, they did offer the 100k pack and the 35k pack. But other than adding coins in to the final or losing in the final, nothing else changed. Yet in FIFA, you now have the Ultimate Pack, the Electrum Player Packs, consumable packs that are in FIFA that you don't really get in draft anyway. Offline draft sometimes, but online draft never. We have the guaranteed Team of the Tournament packs, the guaranteed Team of the Week packs. There is so much extra. There are so much extra styles of packs and stuff now in the game. Why are they not included in draft? It doesn't make sense for EA to not put them in the draft as well. I can only hope again that this is the sort of thing where they've heard us. They've got, okay, these guys want different rewards or better rewards or just a better reward structure in keeping in line with Weekend League. And we hear you, but because it's not a huge priority, we'll put it in the next game rather than adding something in this game. That for me is most probably the logical thing that's going to happen. Hopefully, anyway. Because if we do get into FIFA 18 and Division 1 is still 15k with no packs or kits or bonuses or anything like that, and the draft is still just the typical current draft rewards, I'll probably sit here and think, okay, this is going to be a long year again. This is going to be another year of people just complaining about the disparity between rewards here, there, and there. Only time will tell, unfortunately. Last comment from the last video is from QJH05. He says, hey, Nep, do you think they should add women into FIFA Ultimate Team? So yeah, I would love to have a women's division or a women's division in FIFA Ultimate Team, but I know from speaking to EA and from what they've released publicly, it won't happen probably for at least 5 to 10 years, simply because the women's division is not big enough. There's not enough players to run an Ultimate Team. The simple thing is, you can't play women and men on the same team legally. Like, it's against the law. So you can't just start throwing women into your men's team in Ultimate Team. That literally is against real life law. So they can't have it in the video game either. A video game that should and is trying to reflect as much realism as possible. Because of that, because the women's sport is still very much a growing sport, there's just not enough players to build the Ultimate Team system for the women's football. So it was last year when they introduced women into FIFA in general in FIFA 16, that it was said then that it will probably be at least 5 years between women before women are in Ultimate Team. So I wouldn't expect them anytime soon. Before I get onto the comments that I saved from the previous video, I also want to talk about quickly about a thread that I read on Reddit today that for some reason the mod's removed from Reddit, and I thought it was a very viable discussion to be had. I can't now go and read the thread again because it was removed, but in general the gist was again talking about this as an esports and why it's too far away from being an esports with the current model what EA have done. And one of the biggest things was the fact that EA are introducing too much realism into a game for it to be competitive. Prime examples are players arguing with the officials, players staying down when injured, and most notably the composure stat. And I've spoken before many times about when a player gets injured on the floor and then I concede or score a goal because me or my opponent's player is laying there feigning an injury because it's a video game. That should not be in a competitive esports. That's literally like, if again, I always refer to League of Legends because that, for me, that's the best esport out there. It's the most watched. I could be wrong on the numbers, but I think it's the most watched. Maybe StarCraft has bigger prize pools, but it's definitely up there for prize money. You know, you're talking like millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars in prize money per year. Like, it's a huge franchise, a huge esport. And it's like, if you're controlling your League of Legends character, then all of a sudden you just get penalized for 7 seconds where you can't do anything. And it's like, wait, why can't I do anything for 7 seconds? Oh, because, you know, he was walking down the lane and he hurt his leg. So you don't get to do anything for 7 seconds. That wouldn't be tolerated in any other esport. And I know FIFA is based on a real life game, but there are certain things that you want for realism and certain things that you don't want for realism. The thing that was most important to me, that doesn't get talked about enough and that we should make some noise for, is the composure stat. We don't know what the composure stat specifically does. We can guess that it is geared towards attacking players because attacking players have much higher composure stats than midfielders, and midfielders have much higher composure stats than defenders. You'll find the odd anomaly here or there where there's a defender with a ridiculously high composure stat, but in general, the attackers have the highest composure, which means it must be an attacking set, right? It must be something to do with your offense, with your attack. So the problem lies is, if it is based on how well a player performs in pressure situations, it could mean that you might get into the box, onto the penalty spot with Alejandro Gomez, who has near identical stats to Lionel Messi, the regular version of Messi to the best version of Gomez. They have near identical stats. In fact, I think Gomez has a better card. Then you look at composure. Messi has like 94 composure, Gomez has 77 composure. So what you're saying is, in any given game, let's say it's 1-1 in the 90th minute, and you get through on goal with Gomez, and you get to the penalty spot, and you take that shot, and in the exact same scenario you have Messi, EA is saying, we're going to say that Messi is more likely to score this chance, even though their stats should indicate that Gomez should be more likely to indicate the chance, because they want that realistic factor of players that can perform well under pressure. Well, I'm sorry, but that's not acceptable. I'm the person that's playing. If I can perform well under pressure, and in the 90th minute craft an opportunity for my player who gets into a great position but doesn't score because the game decided that the AI player couldn't handle the pressure, and then my opponent goes down the other end and has his Lionel Messi in the exact same scenario and scores his goal, that's bullshit. That is not okay. It's not okay that the game will decide based on an arbitrary fact, an arbitrary number, whether or not you score a goal in pressure situations, assuming that that's what the composure stat actually means. There was some murmurings that the composure was literally just to do with penalties. But again, I don't know, because we don't know. But if composure does affect the way your players shoot, control the ball, pass the ball in high pressure situations, it could again be a situation where you might have a good team with informs and man of the match cards and team of the knockout stages, and be performing really well in a tight game against a good opponent who also has a good team, and then because he has better composure stats in his players during the latter stages of the game, he ends up nicking that goal that you felt you should have got. And that again could then come down to a situation of, why does this inform player who's got better stats than this gold player actually play worse. And it might simply be due to the fact that the other player is more composed and can finish off chances better, even though your player has better stats and is also good enough to finish those chances. You shouldn't take away from the player who's playing on the controller the opportunity to score a goal based on an in-game arbitrary stat. It's not okay. It's not acceptable. So I think EA owe us an explanation as to what the composure stat is for, what it means, what it affects, and why, if this game is trying to go competitive, why it exists. Because again, if you go to like a regionals event and someone's got, let's take, I think Eden Hazard has something like 88 composure. Let's say we get a 99 team of the season, Eden Hazard, with his 88 composure, and then the 99 Messi, or the 98 team of the year Messi with his 94 composure, and they both have identical stats. Messi is now going to be a better player just because of the composure stat. You can't have that in a competitive game. You can't have that in an esports where it takes away the skill of the player and introduces real world realism for players and say, you literally missed that because he wasn't composed enough. Well, I'm sorry, I was composed enough to get myself into that opportunity to score, and you've taken it away from me because you don't think that in a real world situation this player would score a goal under this pressure. That's not okay. Does that make sense? Anyway, Elakim Mangala says, "Hey Nep, I think that you should sell all of your ones to watch fast. They can only drop in value because there are just a few weeks left in the competitions. You miss out many coins if you keep the ones to watch. Love your content, by the way. Awesome." Thank you for the kind words. I don't necessarily disagree with you that I should sell the ones to watch, but not fast. I'm going to sell them at the right time. I was looking into a lot of like what goes on with the end of the season and informs and stuff. And for a lot of my ones to watch cards, they are close to being dead and buried, right? They're close to a situation where they won't play any more football this year until the new season, in which case, team of the season's coming around, yada, yada, yada. However, for quite a lot of them, they will be playing international football where they'll actually have a better chance of getting special cards. And you might think, wait, that you don't get informs for international football. Well, actually, and there was a reply to you saying this, actually you do. And in fact, Team of the Week 9 from this year in FIFA was based on international performances. Kyle Walker's inform right now in this FIFA is based on his performance with England, not from a performance with Spurs. So because there will be a lot of international football this summer, okay, there's not a major event that will give you the international cards like last year, but there is actually qualifiers and friendlies and stuff. There's still actually a really good opportunity that a lot of these players will still get boosts and informs and stuff, which will make me a lot of money off these ones to watch cards. So there was a point where I was like, oh crap, like I'm panicking. Like I've got all this money invested in my ones to watch cards, and I'm not going to make it back. But actually, I've got still a real good chance of making a lot of that coins back. And I've got a spreadsheet where I've tracked what I bought everyone to watch card for and what I've sold everyone's to watch card for, and I'm currently about 180,000 coins behind what I've paid for all of my ones to watch cards in general, and I've got about 400,000 coins worth of one to watch cards. So even if I sold all of these now and made a loss on them individually, as a group, as my ones to watch trading group, I've actually made profit. Not as much as I would have liked. I would have only made 200 to 300,000 now if I sold up. Whereas, my aim was to make a few million off of the ones to watch, but I've definitely made some profit. Now, as you can see here, guys, we've got a nice, easy 2-1 rage quit. I took a couple of losses along the way. One thing I found is it's about 8 to 10 games is my limit for a day before I start getting lazy, FIFA tired, before my own composure and concentration and consistency levels go. I started needing 23 with 23 games. I've got 7 left. So I played 16 games today, and I could tell. I literally, like, there was one game I lost 5-0 that I actually was the better player. And I could just feel myself, like, after conceding the first goal, just like, oh, no, for God's sakes. And just losing it. Whereas 10 games before, I'd be like, no problem, let's make a change, let's get this in. Like, I think about 8 to 10 games is my limit, which is a shame, because if I do 8 to 10 games Friday, 8 to 10 games Saturday, 8 to 10 games Sunday, I'm never going to get through the 40 games, right? And that's one of those things, again, where I've explained week on week on week. For me personally, the quicker a ranked ladder comes in, the better, because I think I will offer better results from a ranked ladder than I do for weekend league, because I can't keep up the consistency of playing 40 games in such a short period of time at my best level. I can't do it. And again, I've proven that here today, where I took a couple of deserved losses. There was one guy that beat me 5-0 after the first 5-0 that I lost, and he thoroughly deserved that win. He absolutely outclassed me and outplayed me. He scored an incredible goal with Perisic. In general, he had a great game, and he thoroughly deserved his victory. But yeah, for me, I think like 8 to 10 games is the absolute limit before I just start, my FIFA skill just starts dwindling because of my, my lack of consistency, my lack of composure, and my ability to stay concentrated to the highest level for that amount of time. So bring on FIFA 18 and a different system for ranked play. It would be good. But guys, I made it to Elite 1 monthly. I made it to Gold 1 weekly. That was a target for this time around. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this game. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And yeah, for now, guys, I'm out. Peace.